The story of Naruto is an iconic story that lasted for 14 years of serialization and spawned 72 volumes and an additional manga volume in the form of Naruto Gaiden, the 7th Hokage, and the Scarlet Spring for a grand total of 710 chapters. But it was during the initial publication, there was a pretty hot topic of debate that to an extent still rages on in smaller circles to this day, which is the question of whether or not Sasuke Uchiha deserved to die, or at the very least got off too easy with his pardon that Kakashi secured for him in Naruto chapter 699. Now, given the benefit of hindsight, we know that Kakashi made the right decision, just given that Sasuke has repaid his price of his pardon several times over in the form of both protecting the village from afar, like he did in the Exploding Human saga, to saving the world a couple of times over, following the pardon by helping defeat Momoshiki and Ishiki Otsutsuki. However, taking that out of the equation and taking out any feelings that people might have for Sasuke as a character, I want to take a cold, hard, objective look at Sasuke's character, basically putting him on trial per se, in order to look at the argument of whether or not Sasuke deserved to be pardoned, or if he should have been executed for his crimes, or at the very least spent the rest of his time in prison, only to be let out when random Otsutsuki boogeymen pop up. So looking at the case of Sasuke Uchiha is actually a rather curious one, because there's actually some merit to it if you take out the emotions and look at the evidence as it's presented. I'm oftentimes reminded of a line from the Fast and Furious movie, the fourth installment of the Fast and Furious franchise, where the judge that was sentencing Dominic Toretto says, "One good deed, no matter how large it is, doesn't make up for a lifetime of crime." In a way, you can see why characters in universe took that stance with Sasuke after the fourth Ninja War ended. Sure, the guy helped defeat Kage, but he wasn't exactly doing it with the most honorable of intentions. Kage was a case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend when it comes to Sasuke. While he'd moved past the whole idea of destroying the village to make fulfillment of his role in the Art of Blood revenge, and he set his sights on the ninja world itself and his own twisted ideal of what a Hokage should be, Sasuke still acted not with honorable intentions, but for his own selfish intentions when he aided in the defeat of Kage. There's a reason why the Sage of Six Paths didn't get involved in that battle and let the battle be decided by Naruto and Sasuke, because we were told in the manga the outcome of that battle between brothers would decide the fate of the world moving forward. One where it either went the path of Indra or it went the path of Ashura, and it would be decided by the final reincarnates of each, Sasuke and Naruto respectively. That has to be factored in when looking at the whole argument of Sasuke and whether or not he did so to help defeat Kage and it wiped the slate clean. Sasuke laid out his intentions right from the start, and it's something I still see people overlook, especially on videos I did in the past, like what if Sasuke killed Naruto, where a lot of people forgot how the infinite Tsukuyomi needed to be broken. Sasuke never needed Naruto specifically to break the Genjutsu. It's not my headcanon. Hagoromo tells you as much in the manga, and Sasuke was aware of it. That's why Sasuke immediately after hearing how the infinite Tsukuyomi would be broken, declared he was going to kill the 5 Kage who were trapped under their cocoons, and then he was going to kill Naruto. He intended to kill the leaders of the 5 major nations. He intended to kill Naruto, who housed the 9 Biju chakra and was a symbol of the old shinobi system, and he intended to use the 9 Biju in place of Naruto to force them to weave the required hand seal simultaneously with himself to undo the Genjutsu, and he would then go on to destroy the Biju to ensure the system of Jinchuriki could never be abused again. He openly stated in the manga before the fight with Naruto that he planned to use the tools available to him via the Sharingan and the Rinnegan to live a life of immortality, to be the unifying force of hatred and power that forced the world into peace, and in all honesty, his plan could have worked. However, whether or not it could have worked is irrelevant to the question at hand, which is how does this action or set of actions cancel out his helping of the defeat of Kaguya? It wasn't Sasuke defeating Kaguya for the sake of the ninja world, it was him defeating Kaguya who posed an obstacle to him ushering in the new world that he hoped to build out of the ashes of the fourth ninja war itself. That could not be done if Kaguya harvests the planet for another chakra fruit and turned all life on the planet into an army of white Zetsu that she was preparing to take on Momoshiki and Kinshiki, according to Boruto's manga and the Boruto movie novelization, both written by Ukyo Kodachi, the former Boruto writer. In short, Kaguya needed to be removed, but her removal via Sasuke's help was tainted because of the why behind his actions. When we look back at Sasuke and how we got to this point, while he himself is a victim of the shinobi system, he still made decisions along the way that do bear some responsibility for answering to, and that is why even after he helped defeat Kage, the guy was locked up in a cell and had ceiling tags placed over his eyes, and there was a whole trial behind closed doors, not open to the public, where Kakashi had to exhaust all his political capital as the newly named 6th Hokage, and Naruto used all his clout as the hero of the 4th Ninja War to get him a pardon. Sasuke might have been failed by the shinobi system, but he still made the decisions of being a criminal that cannot be overlooked. He intentionally left the Hidden Leaf Village to join Orochimaru, a man who in universe wasn't just a wanted criminal, but he was the wanted criminal in at least 2 of the 5 major nations. Orochimaru was credited in universe with killing the 4th Kage and killing the 3rd Hokage. He was the mastermind behind both the Konoha Crush arc, where he destroyed a chunk of the Hidden Leaf Village. He was also a wanted criminal in all 5 nations' bingo books. Sasuke left to join him for the sake of seeking power. Deserting one's village is a crime that is punishable by death, even more so when you are in possession of a Kage Genkai, which Sasuke was, a prized military asset of a ninja village where entire ninja wars have been fought over Kage Genkai in the past, and you go to join an enemy of the village. That is a death sentence. That's why there wasn't any room to stand on when Danzo got named Hokage and ordered Sasuke to be killed, because Tsunade only put all standard operating procedure out of respect for Naruto and Sakura, but following the standard operating procedure, he should have had a kill on sight order and had his body disposed of right on the spot after getting killed. He then flushes any goodwill that he would have had if he came home, leaving the village after going rogue when he killed Orochimaru, something that would have been an easy enough thing to spin had he returned home, but he flushes it down the drain by allying himself with the Akatsuki. While he didn't join the Akatsuki in the traditional sense of being given one of their rings, he still formed the alliance and donned the robes of the group itself. The Akatsuki were a group responsible for the deaths of multiple Jinchuriki and various other crimes, and as we saw in the 5 Kage summit in universe, there wasn't any confirmation for the 5 Kage whether or not Orochimaru was acting as a lone wolf or whether he was acting as a member of the Akatsuki during the Konoha Crush arc. While we as readers know that he had just left the Akatsuki, the Kage at the summit had no confirmation as to if this was the case, which is why there was so much of a fuss made briefly about Orochimaru during the time of the 5 Kage summit by the 4th Raikage and by Inoki as well. Sasuke, while wearing these robes, not only illegally entered into the Hidden Cloud Village, but he attacked one shinobi via Genjutsu, attacked the Cloud Village Jinchuriki, and attempted to murder said Jinchuriki by handing him over to the Akatsuki with the intention to have the 8 tails inside of him extracted, which would have been a death sentence because B would have died. What Sasuke did was akin to someone walking into the United States and taking nuclear secrets from the government and handing that information over, even if said assets got removed or replaced elsewhere or the information was wrong. The intention was still there nonetheless. That is still something punishable by death. Sasuke then proceeded to go to the 5 Kage summit in the Land of Iron, a neutral country separate of the 5 nations, and then proceeded to kill dozens of samurai before he ended up attacking multiple members of the 5 Kage. He even successfully killed one of them by killing Danzo. While Danzo himself wasn't officially Hokage, he was for all intents and purposes the Hokage during that time because he had been selected by the feudal lord of the Land of Fire, the person who all Hokage appointments have to go to for approval, which he had given in that case. The only thing left was for the Jonin Council's formality vote, which is just a formality, but the result is already set because the feudal lord who bankrolls the village had already said this is going to be your Hokage moving forward, and he just needed the ceremony on top of the Hokage tower before the crowd of the village in order to be officially named Hokage. Sasuke still killed him. It doesn't matter what Danzo's role was in Uchiha Massacre. Does not matter if you don't like Danzo and think he's the scum of the earth. He was still a very high-ranking official. He was still the acting Hokage. Think of it like U.S. elections here for those of you guys who are United States citizens, which according to my demographics, that's like about 60% of you guys who watch the videos. Without giving my thoughts on which of the 2 losers we have to choose from between President Biden and former President Trump, one of them will become the president for the next 4 years. After the 2024 election is decided, you're going to have a president-elect. unless God save us and we get a third-party candidate who keeps either one of them from becoming president. That person is going to be your president, but there are a set of formalities that have to be undergone before the winner of the election has any real power starting January 20th, 2025. Sasuke basically did the equivalent of killing a president-elect right before they had their ceremony where they're sworn in when he killed Danzo. He then proceeded to start the war, being viewed as aligned with the Akatsuki. The alliance still viewed fighting Sasuke as something of a potential scenario. At best, due to Sasuke's actions in the war, he could be argued as an independent third party, not truly on either side, but merely on his own side. That's the whole reason why the moment he pulled up on the battlefield, there were members of the Konoha 11 who looked at Sasuke and they had that Black Air Force energy and pretty much said it's green light season on Sasuke's head right now because they still viewed him as an enemy. That's a lot on the ledger of Sasuke, including blood being shed by people who didn't warrant his ire. While you can paint the picture of Sasuke being the failed child of the shinobi system, nurtured into becoming the person he is, you can make that argument. You can also make similar claims about other rogue shinobi who have bounties put on their head and kill on sight orders. Kakuzu's a great example of that. Kakuzu was given the mission to go kill the first Hokage during the first ninja war, and because he failed to get the job done, his ninja village, the Hidden Waterfall Village, basically said this guy needs to be executed, and because he failed his mission to kill the guy who many people consider to be a god of shinobi, one of two people in the ninja world who had that title, the other being the third Hokage, Kakuzu was failed by the system, something we learned in the third Naruto databook. But he made the decision afterwards to kill his elders, instill the hidden forbidden jutsu of his village that allows him to possess multiple hearts. It was his decisions that were made after being wronged by the shinobi system that have to be answered for. Replace Kakuzu with whatever rogue shinobi that's your favorite that you want to. You can see how each of them are failed products of the system, but that's not an excuse for the actions that are done after the fact. In all honesty, Sasuke did get off easy here by being allowed to roam free. Had I been in that position, I'd have had the dude executed. Does he atone for his actions in the past? Absolutely, but he's also lucky to even be given the opportunity to do so. There are lines that you cross where some people just don't get second chances. That's how life is. And Sasuke had done enough where you could argue he didn't deserve his second chance, which is why Kakashi in Naruto chapter 699 has to tell him specifically, hey, don't cause any trouble out there, because if you do, I am the one held personally responsible for it. And that's why we learn in the Sasuke Shinin, the Teach a Star People story, that Sasuke's probation is at the discretion of whoever is the acting Hokage, which in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, small spoiler, that will be Shikamaru. It can be revoked at any time, and he's expected to submit himself for imprisonment the moment that happened. That's why there are still those who hold his past against him, even though he's done the good that he's done in the 16 years by the events of Boruto Naruto Next Generation's Vessel arc, and what you have in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex 19 years after the Ninja War. Sasuke is a curious case of redemption in my opinion, but I know some of you guys are probably still confused as to how Sasuke's plan could have worked if he killed Naruto, which I go over in extensive detail in the video you see on the screen.